So before we look at the third one, I was going to tell you here in this last question down here that you're supposed to fill out. Essentially, you're describing your findings, your results of your data analysis. The only part that took some thought process was you have to have a sentence that shows your data between your two groups. So the way that the examples have it written out and everything that we found online has it written out is you just write this statement essentially. You say there's not a significant difference, or according to your p-value, if you found the significant difference, you wouldn't include the not, obviously. But for this one, there's not a significant difference in the scores for female, and then you show the actual data. So the M equals 5295 comes from right here, my mean student score for females, and then the SD is obviously my standard deviation. I pulled from over here. And then, so obviously there's not difference in the scores for female, and then male, same thing, pull the data from the mean right here for male, the standard deviation for male right here. And then you have to list these conditions. These conditions are describing somebody that is looking at your analysis, what your t-value and your p-values were. So it's showing how you use, these are the values you use to determine that these two items were not significantly different.
Where you have the 180, is that saying that so many data points? So you have t parentheses 180 equals 4.90?
That comes from this right here, this 180. And I think that's because you're looking at a total of 180 items.
Okay.
Those lines.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we ready to look at the third one?
Yep.
Pull the third one up. That's the paired samples, right?
So we only have to turn in the correlation one.
Yeah, the other ones aren't due till next week.
Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and do them.
Go, Jasmine.
Cause yeah.
Oh, it's fresh in your mind?
That, yes.
So this one's a little bit different. You're going to follow the same steps and procedures to get your charts and all those things. So I went ahead and I did the data analysis for descriptive statistics, like we did in the last one. It gives me all this good information, highlighted standard deviations. And what makes this one different is before, on those first two correlations, we were looking at two separate groups. This one, we're looking at the same group of students, just simply the group of students before some type of learning intervention, and then the group of students after the learning intervention. So we're looking at the same sample group. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we have student scores for before the intervention and student scores for after the intervention. So we have to use a different set of statistics to gather all that information. So for this one, I went ahead and did the bins again, and I followed the same process that we just talked about for the last one. My bins for this one are 900, 1900, and 100-point increments. I made my histograms the same way as I did for the last one, so all of that stuff was the same. The part that's different is this section right here, where we get this, where we get our key. And this paired two sample for means. I'll give you these statistics. And this is, I was just talking about the tails, the one tail and the two tails. So for this one, because we're really only trying, we want to see if there was any positive growth, if there's some type of correlation between higher scores after the intervention. So for this one, we just use the one tail because we only want to see that it traveled in one direction. We're not interested in seeing if it's creating negative growth with our students. We want to see the positive growth.
Let me see the suitcase again.
Okay.
I know. Let me see.
So for this one, this is where it got a little trickier as far as our hypotheses are concerned. We're still trying to figure it out, but we're going to ask for clarification on this one.
Okay.
I actually never changed this one for what I was going to be, but again, because I'm trying to prove correlation in one direction, it's not going to be a simple either equal or not equal to.
Okay.
It's either going to be, what do we think it was, Chris?
Okay, so for my neighbor, and he says that the first one is that there's no difference between groups, which is the same, And the second one is there's a difference between the group. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Let me. I had the wrong one up. Okay, so the first one is there's no difference between the means of the paired observations because they're paired. And the second one is a difference between the means of the paired exists, and it's greater than, instead of, see where he has the equal? Can you point to the equal, Trent, on your screen?
Yeah.
Or the HA one, or the second one? But not the, yeah. That should be greater than because you're trying to show that the intervention worked.
Say it again. Oh, okay. Thank you.
The difference between the before and after intervention, U of students before the intervention is greater than. See how he changed it to greater than?
Okay.
But we're not really sure about that. We think it's greater than, but we've been going back and forth.
I'll look at it.
This is the one where we're going to wait for some feedback from her.
Yeah, but whenever somebody finds out a good clarification, post in the chat because we're all like on the fence.
I'm gonna look at this weekend, so I'll let you know after I do that. What?
And also look at the exponent on the P one tail. That means 0 because it's exponent to -0.5.
Oh, this is where she was saying scientific notification.
Yes.
Hold up, what's 0?
I was like, I'm screwed.
What's 0 again?
When I expand that exponent, you see it's actually 0.0000.
Oh, okay.
It's not 4.14
Oh
Oh.
gosh, I'm gonna be in big trouble with this.
because of that E right there.
How did you expand it?
Just double click on it.
Oh, okay.
And see how he has for number 4P equals 0? That's because it's about 0. Because you move that exponent so far over.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you're only using the first 2 decimal points.
And it would
So
ramp
when you actually have the number written out, it's 0.00.
Okay, that makes sense.
See, she tried to trip us up, but we got her.
And then you follow the same thing for number 5. You compare the p-value to your alpha level. And then the write-up is essentially the same thing as the previous one as well.
Okay.
You really, all you're doing in this last section right here is telling what your results change. And for this one, because we are seeing a positive growth correlation in the scores after the intervention, that's what we're writing down. Because we use this test and because it shows that all the scores are increasing after the intervention, we show that it's got a positive correlation.
Are we on time, Joshua?
Yep, we are at 7:56, 7:57, 7:58.
And then the histogram, so there's obviously the histogram we talked about a second ago, and then you do the charts the same way by just pulling this data. You go up to insert a chart that way.
Chart, can you make your bars different colors, Trent?
You don't like blue?
Xena has this thing with charts and stuff that they have to be all cutesy and all that stuff, but
Is that better?
No, doesn't matter.
Salmon?
I was thinking more coral.
No, coral. I went with salmon.
oh no. Oh no. Xena, look what you did. You know Trent don't care. Why you made him change his bars?
I'll probably hit Control Z here in a second once the call's over and put it back.
In 45 minutes, we just did 3 weeks of assignments or whatever this is.
That's crazy.
Week and a half.
Can you guys teach the class from now on, please?
Kristen put in a little front end labor.
I had to bribe my friend with some cocktails to help me.
If somebody bribed me with some cocktails, I would have did it.
Next time. I got you.
Okay, so, and this saves me having to watch all those videos.
Thank you guys so much, because I did not want to watch those videos. Trent,
Yes, you're a rock
The
star.
videos don't help. The videos just time consuming and are going to slow you down.
I feel like with these modules, she just dumps everything in them to say that, well, I guess she probably didn't build these.
right, that's what I was thinking.
Whoever built them just dumped everything in them, and then she realizes that it sucks, so she's like, let me go find something that's going to help more, and sends us 5,000 follow-up emails.
Can I stop the video while we talk? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
okay, wonderful. All right.